We are now on the back of UFC 263, a highly anticipated card filled with tons of rematches. And man, this card really did live up to all the hype and more, between having the first ever 5-round fight that wasn't a title fight or a main event. And dude, I really don't know. This is top to bottom. Like from the early prelims to the main card. This really is one of the best cards that I think I've watched. It's definitely in my top 3 of favorite cards that I've been able to watch live.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, this, like you said, from top to bottom, this card was entertaining. There's a little bit of everything. There's submissions, there was decisions, there was knockouts. I mean, just a little bit of everything.
So, dude, and then even we had the hope, ladies and gentlemen, that Nate Diaz was actually going to win that fight. But of course, we're going to have to get into that once we get there. But before we get into the first card, or the first fight on the card, of course, I'm your host, Ross Allen, joined alongside by the fourth-long UFC correspondent, Blake Campbell. And Blake, it really is always a great time, and what better time than ever to be a UFC fan. This is UFC Talk 48, and before I get into the first one, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. For all your sports prop betting needs, go on over to thrivefantasy.com or download the Thrive Fantasy Sports Prop Betting app over on Google Play Store or the Apple App Store to get started today. They streamline the entire process. There is no better way to get into sports betting than through them. Everything's simple and easy to use, and they lay out everything for you. And if you use promo code 4th and Long on deposits of $20 and up to $50, they will match you dollar per dollar. So go get started. Go get some money today. And shout out to our Patreon supporters. To become a member of a very prestigious group, you're going to go on over to patreon.com/4th and Long to get started today. And all it takes is $1 a month. You get a bunch of bonus content there. You get some goodies, behind the scenes stuff, and you get to support this very absolutely amazing show, the best UFC one on the market, especially since Ariel in DC is not a thing anymore, since Ariel Helwani is leaving ESPN. So, hey Blake, I think it's time for us to fill a void.
You know, that's what they're just making room for us.
We're coming for you guys. Oh man, but the first fight on the card I really want to talk about was Terrence McKinney versus Matt Frevola. Remember, it was supposed to be Matt Frevola versus Frank Camacho. Frank Camacho got in a car accident and actually got some decent injuries there. So, of course, shout out to him, and thoughts are with him. I really hope he can recover soon, because I want to see him back in the octagon. That's always a really crappy thing to have happen to you, something that is nowhere near controllable like that. But in steps in on short notice, making his debut to the promotion, Terrence McKinney, and he serves up the greatest debut I think I've seen. He gets a 7-second knockout, hits this dude with a 2-piece in the middle of the octagon. Fastest KO in the debut, fastest KO in lightweight history, and the 4th fastest knockout in UFC history. Blake, this was a really great way to get things started on the night, and it really set the tone for the rest of the card.
Yeah, that was like a firecracker shooting into a freaking dumpster or something, man, and just exploding. The only thing, did we ever get an update on how he's doing in terms of his knee and whatnot?
I haven't seen anything. I think he's, for the most part, okay.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
nothing
I was
serious.
Gonna say,
yeah.
That
had me scared.
Right. You're right. Best debut ever, except for the celebration. I mean,
it wasn't like he did anything crazy. He's just jumping back, or he pushed himself on top of the cage and just came back down.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird situation, but I'm hoping that guy's okay, because man, what a freaking debut. I'd love to see who he gets to fight next if he's healthy. I mean, that was awesome.
I need to see more of him. I'm already absolutely hooked on this guy.
And you heard about his story too, about how he took a bunch of shrooms one time and almost killed himself.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
Slit his neck open and all that. Like, man, that's absolutely wild.
Hey, stay out the shrooms. Just go on Joe Rogan and do some DMT.
Yeah, skip the shrooms, go straight to DMT.
Straight to DMT. Don't take advice from me, please. I am not being held liable for any one of you that actually does that. Or at least please don't sue me. I don't have enough money anyway. I need to see him back in the octagon soon. I just think it's really funny how we saw this brutal injury from Jamal Hill, which we'll get to in a number of fights here, And he's totally fine. Just pops the arm back in. He's good to go. Where we see this guy just kind of fall a couple feet from the cage, and it looks like he blew out his knee. So isn't the human body just that cool?
Cool or just crazy and unpredictable?
Right. It's weird. But the next one I kind of want to talk about is jumping on over to the prelims. Let's talk Lauren Murphy and Joanne Calderwood, because this had huge implications on possibly the next opponent for Valentina Shevchenko. And this was, all in all, a pretty solid fight between the two. Both these ladies put on a great showing, and they were both obviously gunning for that title shot. Lauren Murphy gets the nod in this one. And do you think that she did enough to deserve that title shot?
She didn't have a crazy impressive performance, but she got the job done.
Yeah.
And she is now, I believe, in the top 5.
Yeah, she's right now on the Monday, on the 14th, she is number 3 still. So behind Chukagian and Andrade.
Every other fighter in the top 5, I'm pretty sure, has already gotten smoked by Shevchenko. So yes, while she didn't have an impressive finish or really an impressive performance in my humble opinion, it was a good fight. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But just nothing really popped out on the screen to me that said, yeah, this is the girl that's going to be able to get it done. In my opinion, all it's going to be is just another lamb getting taken to the slaughter. And that's no knock on her. I mean, I think she is a good fighter. She's talented, and she's tough, and she's gritty. But Valentina is on a different level right now, man. She's killing people out there. And I think she kill Lauren Murphy too.
Valentina Shevchenko is only the greatest strawweight fighter of all time, or at least women's strawweight fighter of all time.
Flyweight.
Thank you, flyweight. Excuse me. That's why I have you here, Blake. That's why you pay the big bucks. Okay, I appreciate you. It's hard because realistically, the only competitive fight for Valentina Shevchenko at this point is with Amanda Nunes. And kind of what you said a number of shows ago is that you don't really want to see that. You'd rather just see Valentina Shevchenko murder everyone once and then murder everyone again. And also, I can kind of get behind that. Lauren Murphy, at
least until she fills up the belt. Then you can maybe
all the rubies.
I just want to see someone fill the belt, and then you can move on.
Right.
Or what if you filled 2 belts? That'd be crazy.
Wait, or is there a ruby for either side of the belt?
I don't know. We'd have to look at the diagram again.
Right, I had to take a double look at that belt, but man, just get all the rubies and let me see Valentina Shevchenko with 16 title defense, because I think it's an octagon, so they have 8 rubies per like thing. So 16 title defenses, Blake.
It's possible. Keep lining them up
and keep knocking him down. Let's go into the next fight. And I want to talk about Eric Anders versus Darren Stewart. Of course, they had a fight about like a month or so ago. And Eric Anders was destroying the dentist. And the only reason that he didn't get the win there, it ended up being a no contest because of a fairly weak illegal knee. Nothing near the Aljo and Jan levels of illegal knee. But it landed, so by rule, but once again, he gets the job done again. And he absolutely handles Darren Stewart there in the third, scoring a 10-8 round on the judges' scorecards. And I really like this guy. I really like Eric. I think he
boy.
Right. Best and one of the best nicknames, at least. It's ya boy.
Ya boy.
Your boy Eric Anders. But the first fight, if you remember, was in the middleweight division. This most recent fight was at the light heavyweight division. So, Blake, what do you think about this fight? And do you think there's a certain weight class that Anders should stick to?
I mean, it's tough to say. I think he fits better into the middleweight division. But there might be a little less talent, so to say, towards the top end in the light heavyweight. I think everyone would kind of agree on that. Because middleweight right now is just filled with sharks. Leon Edwards, Nate's back in the mix, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, Gamebred Masvidal. I mean,
hey Blake, no, I believe you're accidentally mistaking the welterweight division.
Oh, am I messing up now? Oh, he's middleweight.
Jesus. No, we both messed up. We're even now.
It's Monday. Forgive us, fellas.
Woo!
So,
hey,
I mean, but either way, the same thing stands.
Blake.
Paulo Costa, Israel Adesanya. You know, I mean,
Almost
you want me
worse.
to keep going? Like it's same
Right?
dudes, right? So it's a tough one, and then if you go to light heavyweight, not the same deal, right? You got the Pro Shaka at the top, you got the Dom Reyes who's on a slide, you got Ozdemir. I mean, guys that are like big names, but not on the same, I think, trajectory that some of these other guys like that are just killers, you know, in the middleweight division. Uriah Hall. I mean, just like all these badass dudes in the middleweight division. It's probably easier for him to make light heavyweight. Obviously, he's cutting less.
Yeah.
But middleweight, I feel like he'll probably have a little bit of an advantage over some of these guys that he goes against because he's a physical specimen. Let's make no mistake about it. He played.
That's why he played at Bama, man.
Yeah,
what national championship with Saban.
You got to be a spec to play at Bama. So I think I'd like to see him keep fighting at middleweight as long as he can make it comfortably, because I think that's when he'll perform at his peak.
I'm cool with middleweight just because I want to see if anyone could contend for Izzy's belt at this point. And maybe besides Whitaker.
Need some new blood.
Right. Of course, we'll get to that later in the show with that fight. And the main event of the prelims, or I guess the premiered whatever the hell the featured prelim is what I like. Our main event of the prelims. I like our title better. We got Drew Dober and Brad Riddle, and this was
let's just say something real quick. Blake's bangers freaking hit this week.
Okay. Hats off to Blake's bangers, man. Blake,
every single
round of applause, man. Round of applause. Blake's bangers was phenomenal. Also well around the point. Round of applause to me because I got my second consecutive title defense of the fourth and long suck my pick title. Blake, it was a valiant effort. But you know,
Nate Diaz got that knockout, bro. It was my title, dude.
Dude, if honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if I lost the title if Nate Diaz won.
Crazy. So I told you all week I had a feeling about Moreno.
Dude, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We'll get to those fights because we both have a lot to say about that. But Blake has the official record for the most title defenses at 3 consecutive title defenses. So going for the tie next pay-per-view between Conor McGregor and with a Diamond Dustin Poirier 3, and then of course UFC 265 after that. So Blake, I'm coming for you, my man. But Drew Dober, fight of the night, hands down with it. Well, maybe not hands down, but it's that Leon and Edwards or Nate and Edwards fight was pretty good. But I think this one deserved fight of the night, and that they were worth the $50K here. Drew Dober had Brad Riddle on the ropes really early in that first round. He scores a good, solid knockdown and almost gets him, but Riddle slows down the fight. He's able to regain himself, and he goes on, and both these guys just punch each other really hard, repeatedly in the face for 15 minutes, and Riddle just ended up being the barely better one out of this. This was such a good fight, though. Such a good fight.
Slobber knockers, dude. It was ridiculous. The punches that Dober was taking, and I mean, same with Riddle. They were both busted up.
Mm-hmm.
They got some chins on those boys. I mean, jeez, I couldn't believe it, man. I really couldn't.
For lightweights, man, I mean, we already know Drew Dober has a chin. You can just look at that jawline. But Brad Riddle really showing through, especially for City Kickboxing, what they went through. But who do you think should be next for Brad Riddle at this point? He just knocked off as an unranked fighter, knocked off the number 13 guy in that lightweight division. Who's a good guy for him?
I have to pull up the rankings. Let me see.
Right now, if we want to go through a little bit, Kevin Lee has a fight. Hey, we're talking... One of the fights they were talking about, though, is number 10 lightweight fighter. They threw this name out there. I wouldn't disagree. Gregor Gillespie.
Yeah, that was the one we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
I would definitely be in favor of that, but I just don't know if Gregor would be in favor of that, considering he just beat Fajeda, right? Who did he just beat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably looking up more than looking down.
Probably.
But, I mean, if Gregor can't fight, an RDA, Dan Hooker, or Makachev, why not go for a, Riddell?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're gonna solidify yourself as like, yeah, I'm that guy coming up there. But I think it's a tough ask just on Gillespie's side. On Riddell's side, yeah, I think that's the fight to call for. Either that or anyone, from the fort or from the wherever he's gonna land 15 to 10 range. That's the fight for him next, right? Because he wants to keep progressing.
That's good stuff. Oh.
And he's Izzy's teammate, so I mean, right? if you're Israel's teammate, you're going to get a little bit of shine,
Well, if you're in the premier gym like City Kickboxing, they've really made the name for themselves over the last
Alpha Male. Who else?
Shout out to Team Alpha Male, American Top Team.
American Top
AKA,
Team, of course.
You know,
Rufus
bunch of
Sport.
these guys. You got, man, I was going to say a good
Team
joke.
Elevation.
Right, yes. I was going to make a good joke. I forgot the name of it. Oh, yeah, that's right. The best MMA school in the world, the School of Self-Awareness. Right? Premier?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. That's probably the worst.
Maybe not.
Unless you just like hanging like a bat and getting punched naked.
They're not very self-aware with that one. But going from this, let's hop on into the first fight of this loaded main card. This is Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill, two guys at the top of at the bottom of the light heavyweight top 15. So the 14-15 guys here, and yeah, this fight was almost what I expected. I expected Paul Craig to get a submission. He almost got it, but he ended up getting the TKO due to, man, that arm bar. I've never seen the arm bend and dislocate like that. Thank God it wasn't broken, because that would have been even worse. Paul Craig, he pulled a card, and you knew that something bad was going to happen, and I don't even want to talk about... I felt so helpless for Hill, because I was just sitting there watching him take all these unanswered shots with his arm hanging limp there with the ref. Al-Gain not doing a damn thing about it.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I mean, just watching his arm kind of squirm there like a worm that just got stepped on. It was brutal, man. To be honest, it was pretty sickening. Because I'm pretty weak stomach when it comes to stuff like that, like the whole Weidman thing. I hated that. Just like when I was growing up, I couldn't watch that show. You're probably too young for this, but MTV used to have this show called Scarred, where they would do like, you know, BMX tricks, skateboard tricks, mostly skateboard tricks, and they would just bust their ass, and like it would show them like breaking their bone compound fractures, all that
good
kind
stuff.
of stuff. Yeah, see, I can't stand that stuff, dude. I'm so against that. So seeing Jamal Hill's arm dangling there, I had to walk away from the screen. It took me about 5 minutes to recollect myself.
Jeez,
and just like
a little bit of a pansy there, Blake.
Dude, I know, but I was like, dude, I had to process what I had just seen, because it looked to me like, dude, that arm got shredded. I was like,
bad.
ugh. I was kind of putting myself in that situation. I was like, dude, if I felt that, I would be bawling right now. I would.
But no. He goes to the hospital after the fight. They pop it back in. Now, if you saw the video, at least ESPN MMA posted, or MMA ESPN, where the hell that Twitter accounts, him and Paul Craig are dancing later that night.
That's good, because there was some heat in that matchup. Yeah, you know,
there was
some serious heat. Jamal came in there, and you know, I think I misread everything too, because coming in, I thought Jamal Hill was gonna just take him out, because he has that dog in him, you know.
Yeah.
Took out OSP. I was like, man, there's no way this guy's gonna stop him. I mean, we've seen Paul Craig on the feet. He's nothing. I'm not gonna say he's like doesn't have any skills on the feet, but his bread and butter is definitely his jiu-jitsu, right?
Obviously, I mean, what kind of guy pulls guard, you know?
Exactly. And so I was kind of expecting Jamal to somehow bait him into a firefight, especially with how emotional everyone was getting leading up to the fight. But man, Paul Craig stayed, you know, smooth and calm, and just, you know, I want to say patient, but he wasn't patient. He pulled guard and just made it happen, dude.
Right.
He really did make a point that, you know, my jiu-jitsu is up there.
He might have. I think I want to see him in the Glover in Submission Underground.
I'd be for it.
That'd be killer Underground. Because
it's just difficult.
Those two guys are the best ones
dude, with
in
all
the light heavyweight division.
With all these submissions happening lately that are ending in like broken limbs, you think that's gonna hurt? You think that's gonna hurt Suge at all?
No, I don't think so, because I feel like Submission Underground, they're a little more. I think they're a little more quicker to tap. It's almost like traditional jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, where you're not seeing these guys.
A lot less on the line.
Yeah, less on the line. You're not trying to hold on for as long, you know.
More of like a friendly competition rather than I'm trying to kill you.
I would say so. Not as much money on the line too, so I don't think it's as crazy. Of course, there's still super high competition there. You
always want to be the best.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad. Also, Chael P. Son, and the P stands for the best promoter in the world, promoting that the Submission Underground. So I think they'll be fine. You know, Chael P. Son always finds a way to do it. But yeah, man. Shout out Paul Craig. He's going to go for the division this one. I still like Jamal Hill. I still like not done with him. He just got caught, and he's a young fighter too. He still has a lot of upside to him. I think this is only his 10th professional fight, so I would love to see Hill back in there. Maybe him and Jimmy Crute, two guys that suffered fairly decent injuries in their most recent fights.
I would definitely not be against that. That sounds like a good one.
That sounds
especially because Crute. I think he just tweeted or put an Instagram out today. I was looking on Instagram. It was definitely Instagram. I think he said he's ready by October.
Oh hell! Oh, let's make that fight now, man. Hey, let's do it. That's hands down a Blake's banger right there. Unless there's something absolutely crazy.
Unless it was a main event, which it wouldn't be, but still.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd be on the main event yet. But
no, I don't think so.
No.
I'm just saying that's the only case they wouldn't be a banger.
Or that card's just is extremely stacked for no reason, even more stacked than this
like
one.
This weekend,
right? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, Blake. The next fight though, we had Belal Muhammad taking on Damian Maia, and what ended up it's not Damian Maia's last fight now, so that's nice. He's calling out a couple people. We'll go to that in a moment.
Wait, what? I thought it was Damian Maia's last fight.
He doesn't want to be now. Do you see?
Dana White in his press conference said they're done.
Did he confirm it?
He said that was his last fight and he's done.
Oh, I guess there goes Damian Maia versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And Nate Diaz was asked that question too, what he would think about facing someone like that, and he said, "I'm pretty sure we're kind of like on the same team. He's a big representative of jiu-jitsu, and I have a lot of respect for that guy. I just don't see that fight happening."
Hey, to be honest though, all good because there's a better fight for Nate Diaz out there. We'll get to that when we get into their next fight there, Blake. But Belal Muhammad, I think he got taken down once out of like maybe 20 attempts by Damian Maia this one. Belal looks really good, and the way he looked here made me think he'd be really competitive if he was able to have a full 5-round fight against Leon Edwards. Really like this, so Belal is going to be really good in this division. He's climbing for that. He's coming for Usman. He's at the very least he's coming for that top 5 right now. Takedown defense looked phenomenal. Looked great on the stand up. I know Maia isn't known for his stand up, but Belal looked solid, man. And I'm still disappointed that his fight with Leon Edwards ended with that eye poke, but he has a good future in this division.
Yeah, I think for Belal, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight either a Chiesa or I saw him going out there calling Luque next.
Yeah, I love either of those fights, man. Sign me right the hell up.
Yeah, because that's a step up in the right direction for Belal, and it's not too far down for those other guys to just push him off.
Yeah, and that would be a rematch with Vicente Luque too, so that'd be.
And I'm pretty sure he finished him the first time, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's like the only guy to have finished Luque.
I had to double check on that one at least with Belal Muhammad and Vicente Luque. I don't know. It was like, man, when was that fight again? Was that back in like 2019? No, past that because it's really been a while. So he fought Vicente Luque back in 2016, and Vicente Luque KO'd Belal in the first round. So,
Luque KO'd him.
Yeah, that's why he wants a rematch.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. Because at first I was like, wait, why would he call for that rematch? And that was at UFC 205 too in New York.
Wasn't? Oh, I kind of miss those New York cards.
That was the McGregor and Alvarez double champ fight.
That's right. Oh boy, that was on one hell of a card then. They had no idea what they were having between Luque and Muhammad at this point. A lot of these guys, can't wait to see them climb up the rankings though. And for Maia though, phenomenal career. He's one of the best ground games, possibly the best ground guy in all of MMA, at least over a career. So, man, it's going to hurt to see him gone, but he did beat Ben Askren, so I guess that's probably the best win of his career, right? The GOAT Ben Askren? No, nothing here, nothing landing. Just like all of Ben Askren's shots that he attempted against Jake Paul. Oh, boy. Let's go on into that welterweight fight, Blake, and why am I bringing up the Paul brothers? Oh, boy, what's wrong with me? Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz, 5 rounds, and, okay, let's split this up. Let's split it up between the first 4 rounds and the 5th round. If we're looking at those first 4 rounds, Leon Edwards put on a damn near perfect showing, and he looked like he might be one of the next guys built to contend for Kamaru Usman's belt.
Yeah, I mean, the first 4 rounds he did well.
Mm-hmm.
He was clean. Um, but again, like I think this was a showcase, right? Like he needed to do something that proved to Dana, to the world, like I'm an interesting guy.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, like Nate was the interesting guy by far.
Well, if you look at how the payment went down too, Nate was definitely the draw. Nate made over $1 million off this fight. Leon Edwards worth about 200,000.
Yeah, I mean, and that's enough said. Nate does things outside of the fight, inside of the fight. I mean, the taunting, the flipping off, the showing his butt, turning his back, hilarious.
Grabbing his.
Yeah, like it's Leon. Credit where credit's due. He did win.
Mm-hmm.
He had a pretty, for the most part, 4 out of 5 rounds impressive performance. But man, that near KO in the 5th round.
Dude, the Stockton slap combo, baby. Once again, it strikes again, man.
Taste in your mouth, like that's that's like one of those games, bro, where you're smoking a team like 7-0, and then they score like 5-6 goals, and you barely win by 1 goal, and then you're kind of just like they scored all the last goals, and that's all you remember.
Yeah.
And so it kind of sucks for Leon because now he's in a weird spot. Like I think the only fight Leon can really call for right now is a game bred fight.
Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate for him because that's a step down seemingly in competition too.
Yeah. But the thing is, he needs an impressive performance. He has not had an impressive. He needs a knockout. He needs a submission. He needs something. He needs a highlight on his resume that people can point to and say, okay, this dude's legit. This dude has garnered my interest, and he is keeping me intrigued. Other than him actually fighting, there's nothing that pops out on the screen for me with Leon.
There's always been like something like a holding him back because that return fight against Bilal Muhammad, he looked good in the first round, but then he poked the eye, and then you just don't know. He looked good in 4 rounds against Nate Diaz, but then he got rocked, and if it wasn't for Nate Diaz wanting to taunt and I almost not caring, man, if he pushed the pressure, he probably could have gone the knockout, which was kind of annoying that he just stayed back, and that bugged me a little bit. But once again, you have 4 really good rounds, but you almost get knocked out by Nate Diaz. So I'm not sure what to think of Leon Edwards at this point.
I think he just is going to keep having to rack up the wins. I mean, eventually he's either going to fall or do something impressive and get the shot. Because I mean, Colby should get the next shot. It was the most entertaining fight. That's the fight that most of the people want to see. From what I've seen on Twitter and other avenues of the internet.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards, if he fights another guy and beats him, he's still going to be this number 2 contender. Like there's no one that's really going to jump that line unless they have like a Wonderboy Thompson or a Gilbert Burns does something absolutely insane. So it's really it's all in Leon Edwards' control. He just has to make it happen.
That's fair. It is up to Leon Edwards whether he really wants to make that jump and really make it pop. But speaking of guys that make the jump, let's go to a guy that was the 16th seed on Tough. He was cut from the UFC, and now he is the first Mexican-born flyweight champion of the world. Brandon Moreno takes out Davison Figueiredo in the 3rd round, with a rear naked choke, and I don't know what to say besides I am so damn happy for this man because he deserves the world, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, the way he carries himself, the way he handles himself, you can't do anything but respect the guy. I mean, you'd have to be a really kind of, I don't know, like just unhappy person to hate on this guy because he just kind of exudes, happiness and just respect and humbleness, humanity. He's just, I don't know, man. He just seems like a really good dude, and he's got the world in his hands now. After that impressive performance, I mean, he took everything with grace too. I mean, the shove at the press conference, or not the press conference, but the weigh-ins in the morning, and then still giving him a knuckle touch at the ceremonial weigh-ins later. All the crap talk of Figueiredo saying he's going to knock him out in the first doesn't let it affect his head. he actually goes out there and drops him in the first round, which was, I mean, no one expected that, right? It was just really as close to a flawless performance, probably one of the best performances I've seen in a title shot from the challenger.
Yeah. And what's kind of weird is I feel guilty for almost doubting Moreno because Figueiredo, he looked. The only reason that he didn't win their first fight is because of the I believe is a point taken for a cage grab. So he got a point taken away from there, which resulted in the draw. That's
No,
also
it was a nut kick.
Or was it the nut kick?
Yeah, dude, you don't remember Moreno damn near
Oh,
throwing up
that
in
was
the middle of
such
the cage?
yes. How could I forget about that one? Was thank you, Blake. Thank you. Is that awful nut kick? And then also he was feeling pretty bad going to the weight cut, and then also, well, Fragan might have to take a look at the bantamweights, but I thought that Figueiredo was looking good. I felt a little bit of concern for picking because of that weight cut issue that he did have. He took that extra hour.
That was the final straw for me.
Yeah, man, that was tough.
And
taking that extra hour that Arizona.
Moreno.
Yeah,
I'd already picked Moreno by that point.
So you're good.
That there was just icing on the cake. I was like, yeah, this guy is gonna have a tough battle on his hands.
I thought Figueiredo was going to win, but man, I was so happy that Brandon Moreno won. I was rooting for him the whole way. I don't care about being wrong about prediction. I just want this guy to win, man. He deserved this belt. It's so happy to see. One of the thing, unfortunately, is that from MMA Superfan on Twitter, we saw his attempts. Lego will not sponsor this guy, so that's a fat L on Lego's part and a huge mistake, right?
Why? What's their problem? Are they racist?
He's not child friendly because he punches people in the face.
Okay, I can kind of see that. But
I could see it. It's still disappointing. Come on, Lego.
There's still adult Lego fans out
right?
there.
Be better, Lego. Come on now. But let's look at who Brandon Moreno should take a shot at next. Right now, there is, of course, Figueiredo. He is calling for that trilogy, which is a understandable fight to make. If they book that, I wouldn't be kind of like annoyed by that. Or I think the better option we could do here is maybe go at the next highest contender and maybe go with Oscar Oskarov and have a kind of a fresh fight for this flyweight division.
Didn't they already fight?
Actually, that's good question, Blake. Good question with that one.
I'll tell you right now.
Did they fight? Let's see.
Yeah, they fought to a split draw
Ooh.
in Mexico City in September of 2019 on the Rodriguez versus Stevens card.
Oh, that's right. Run it back.
Yeah, that would be decent.
Run it back, another draw.
Because Moreno's already taken out Formiga, Kai Kara France, and Brandon Royval.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of the guys kind of towards the top.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, Royval is 6, Kara France is 7. Where the hell is that other guy? I don't even see that other guy on here.
Not even there.
But still,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Askarov or a Pantoja, however you say that. But he hasn't. I don't think Pantoja's earned it yet. So yeah.
Yeah. So no trilogy though. No trilogy for you.
Hell no, dude. Are you kidding me? That's the stupidest question I've ever heard. Just the dumbest question. People saying that
I can ask you a dumber question. Fight,
absolutely stupid.
Want me to ask you a dumber question, Blake?
Brandon Moreno smoked Figueiredo. What's up?
All right. Dumber question. Why is... Oh, here we go. Here's a dumber question. Is Lincoln Logs better than Legos?
No.
Okay, see. There we go. There's a dumber question for you. Because obviously, I mean, Lincoln Logs, they're right, but Legos are obviously goated. But for Figueiredo then...
Where did that come from?
You said dumb... I don't know. I just kind of came. Don't ask...
No pause?
Don't ask questions I don't want the answer to, Blake. For Figueiredo, man, should he make the move to bantamweight now, or I kind of threw this out to you on Twitter: bantamweight fight for Figueiredo, Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, I think Figueiredo should move to bantamweight for sure. I mean, if it takes you all the way up until the last 40 seconds to make your weight, excuse me, you need to figure some things out, because that's just
Twice, man.
It's
Twice.
not a good look.
He's had this issue like 3 times now, too. Because he also had that missed weight against Joey Benavidez.
Yeah.
So.
The first fight, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to run it back, unfortunately, for Joe.
Oh, I felt so bad for Joe.
Poor guy.
That was so bad.
But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of matchups. I mean, the bantamweight division is just a bunch of sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if he might just like his size advantage at the flyweight weight class, but I mean, why keep doing that to yourself? You still look like a freaking, Greek god when you're at 135 pounds. I mean,
right.
you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll still beat the majority of people in the bantamweight divisions too, because you're a stud still. But why continue doing that to your body? That's what I don't get. It just seems like it takes a little too much out of him, because this last fight against Moreno, he didn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look good.
No.
And I'm not taking anything away from Moreno. Maybe Moreno made him look that bad.
Yeah. Moreno's also just a fantastic fighter.
But Figueiredo really didn't have anything to offer in this fight. I mean, besides a couple strikes off his back that gave the lump on Moreno's forehead, that was really his best moments of the fight. There was no time where Moreno was really in danger in that whole fight.
No.
For as long as it lasted.
Yeah, he handily won those first 2 rounds. And also, Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt would be one hell of a slugfest.
Yes, and to your second point, that would be a crazy fight, because there's already some beef behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it'd just be an easy fight to make, but it's a risky one for Cody. It's another killer you're fighting, but yeah.
Speaking of good matchmaking, though, one thing I did neglect to speak about with Nate Diaz, going back to that last fight, is that over on Twitter, a very, very cool fight was kind of proposed between one guy that quote tweeted us talking about Nate Diaz's interview. Dan Hooker wants to fight Nate Diaz, and all I gotta say is please make that fight right now. Please, 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 please. Please, he said, hashtag UFC 266. Nate Diaz was talking 3 to 4 months. That lines up with 3. Blake, you a fan?
What would they fight at? 155, 170?
I think Dan would do it 155. But obviously, you don't think so? Would
Nate doesn't want to cut to
would
155.
Would Dan move up to 170 for a fight like this?
He would have to move up to 170, and Nate Diaz would have to be interested, because I mean, let's face it, Dan Hooker, not a big name. Compared to Nate, not a big name. Mm-hmm. Sorry, bud. Let's just be realistic. Yeah. And I'm trying to be as matter of fact as possible. It's not disrespectful. I'm just being completely honest. You're just not a big name compared to Nate. Nate's gonna have no interest in that, unless they threw some fat change at him. But I just don't see that even being that there's options on the table.
Yeah.
He's not even in the same room as all these options that are on the table. He's in another zip code.
So do you not like this fight?
I mean, I think it's a really good fight. Don't get me wrong.
Just not the entertaining. It's just the matchup that doesn't work.
I just don't think that's the route that they're going to go for Nate Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
Because Diaz, you gotta remember, Diaz, McGregor, all these guys, they got to be kind of careful with them almost. And I'm not even really careful, but they just got to make sure it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Hooker, if a guy like Dan Hooker beats up Nate Diaz, that's just not a good look for the UFC. It's just, it removes some of the shine on one of their stars.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is a fair point. If we're talking about just fights, obviously, like you said, that's a really good fight. But in terms of business, I guess that's not the best choice, unfortunately. That's
if he moved up to 170, there is a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But he would have to be willing to move up to 170. Yeah. And that's not really going to... I mean, beating Nate's always going to help your career, but in terms of the lightweight landscape, I don't think that's going to do anything for him. But maybe that's a good thing, because what's happening in the lightweight division right now, it's all held up.
Yeah, and he has 2 losses in a row in that lightweight division. Yeah. So, and he is a tall guy. He could look good at the 170 pound.
Yeah, I mean, he has a good frame for sure.
Yeah. I guess we'll see, man. There's a lot of good fights, a lot of good possibilities that could come from all of this. Of course, the last fight of the night was honestly, given the card, I was a little bit disappointed by this.
Yeah, a little bit of a yawn fest.
A little bit of a yawn, but
it was of no fault of Izzy's. Let's make that clear.
Izzy he just had a really good fight, man. Really technical, perfect game plan. Marvin Vettori really he just couldn't get anything really done against Israel.
He only had one good moment in that fight, and that's when he took his back for 3 seconds.
Yeah, And it looked like, hey,
looks like he had
submission.
it locked in too. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like for like 5 seconds I was believing Vettori was going to win this fight.
I was like, oh shit.
And then how else? But how did we feel for the other 24 minutes and 55 seconds of this fight?
It was just rough, man. Like Vettori was in a bad place anywhere he went, and that's why I feel like that's kind of why he had to do the pushing against the fence. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say stalling, but it kind of just seems like that to us, right?
Well, slowing it down at the least.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him.
That Arizona crowd was testy, man.
They were tough, man.
Like, you go 3 seconds without throwing a punch, they're like, "Bow!"
Right? You're the worst fighter in the world if you even attempt to take down. They wanted boxing in an octagon is what they wanted that night. Pretty good crowd, though. They got loud when they needed to, which is
I think
great.
they took the #1 spot, bro. I think they got it, dude, because that energy was off the charts, man.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
Nate Diaz pops.
Oh, that Nate Diaz pop was great. But Florida, when they had the first card back, Umar Usman,
Jacksonville, yeah,
that was good.
I feel like that was more of like we hadn't seen it in so long though.
But also that Rose, the pop they gave for Rose was.
I think we need to put the reactions of the crowds like side by side just to really get a good feel for it. I think, like both of their peak moments.
Right. I think we might, but both these have been so good. Vegas, UFC 264, Conor McGregor. Dude, crazy. That roof is going to blow off. I still said that.
That's T-Mobile?
Yes, that's at T-Mobile. Man, hell, they could probably put that at the new Ranger Stadium and it will sell out.
I thought they were trying to do that.
Were they?
But I just don't. I don't think it's. With it just now opening up, I think it was just a little too sudden.
But hell, you can fit almost 20,000 T-Mobile. That's going to blow the roof.
Because that would be the first event at Allegiant, I'm pretty sure, if they made that go down.
Well,
like that would be the first fully open event. And
it will be, because
I don't know if they have the infrastructure and all that shit set up yet. Like they do at T-Mobile, who's done it probably hundreds of times.
Right. I mean, it's a huge card. Don't want anything to go wrong. Yeah, just do it T-Mobile. They're good for this stuff. But I mean, getting back to Izzy and Vettori. Vettori, he's now looking ahead to Paulo Costa, and I think that's a really good. I love that, right?
Love it. I think. I hope they get a press conference, dude. Two dudes that can barely speak English, clearly, going at each other.
That'd be so much fun to talk about. And then obviously there's only one thing to do with Israel Adesanya, and that is a rematch with Robert Whittaker.
Yep. No other option.
What do you think with that? Initial thoughts about the rematch?
I'm intrigued because I do think that Rob could have performed better, and I think he can kind of go in there with a new game plan. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I think Israel's still the guy to beat. He's still going to be the favorite, and there's still a good chance that he gets it, done in spectacular fashion.
What I think with Bobby Knuckles, though, is that I guess the environment going to that fight, it wasn't really in his favor because he's laying off. He wasn't fighting for over a year, coming back from an ACL injury against a guy that really the sport has hardly ever seen a guy that can strike like this. Mm-hmm. So he was at a disadvantage there. He's ever since he suffered that loss to Izzy, he's looked fantastic. I think he's looked better now than when he was as the champion. He's getting a little more time off between fights, staying fresh, and he looks almost happier in a way. He looks almost like he's enjoying himself a little looser. So I think that might play a role too. But if he's ready and hot streak into this fight, I like it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say if he's going to win or lose this fight yet. It's still early. But I like his chances a lot more now than I did their first matchup.
Just give us your prediction now, bro. 7 months out.
Fine. Robert Whittaker by decision.
Oh, man. That's crazy. I'm holding it to that now. When that pay-per-view comes up, we're going to have to bring this clip back up and say, no, Ross, you made your choice.
And it's going to be up to you to remember it. So good luck.
We're screwed.
Damn right we are. I'm really looking forward to that, though. That's going to be... I'm excited about that fight. That's good stuff. And it's really the biggest competition to Izzy is Robert Whittaker, hands down.
Yeah.
The true
at least right now that looking at this division
until your boy steps up to it.
Either that or Uriah, who knows, bro?
Who knows? Hey, I love this middleweight division.
Or Cannonier.
Hey, Cannonier bounced back from the Whittaker loss. Yeah. I wanted him to knock the hell out of Paulo Costa, but I guess
he wanted to as well, but
right.
Can only fight if they show up, or if they sign the contract.
So, yeah, right. Paulo Costa. Sign the damn contract, Paulo Costa. Stop getting wine drunk and have some little Twitter tirades.
Yeah, he's something else right now, man.
I want Marvin, whether it be Paulo Costa, that whether it be Jared Cannonier knocking the hell out of him, or Marvin Vettori submitting him. I just want to see that guy lose again because honestly, he's a bit annoying, and I don't really like him.
Yeah, he's definitely taken a little bit of a downwards turn in terms of popularity with all of the excuses and just shenanigans he's been playing lately. So
ever since he got humped by Izzy.
Yeah. Raw dogged.
Raw dogged by Izzy. Oh, that's the new end of a cruise. If you get raw dogged by Izzy, it's just over with that one. But I would love to hear what you guys thought about this card. I had a blast watching this. It felt like I was watching for 6 hours, which it might have been actually. But
it's
man,
pretty close, dude. I think it was 7.
Hey, I don't care. I
it didn't end until like 10 or 10:30, bro.
Yeah, you're right. 11 o'clock my time. It was.
Yeah.
Hey, but I didn't care.
We started at 3.
I was enjoying the hell out of this card. So
I loved it.
Right. It was so good. But we go from that to UFC Vegas 29. Taking place in Vegas. I wish this fight had a crowd, but no, they're just going to keep on doing these fight nights in the Apex, which is understandable. It's really easy at this point, But man, Dan Ige, the Korean Zombie, this is going to be such a damn good fight. But Blake, let us hear Blake's bangers for this event.
Got a lot to live up to considering all my bangers this last week were
you did pretty good on those bangers.
So,
I'll
try my best. So for the first fight that I chose on this card, we are going to do Matt Brown, Diego Lima.
Love it.
And that's just because Brown's a savage veteran. Lima is, an ex-tough contestant and I can't remember if he's little or big brother of the other Lima brother that was the now ex-champion of Bellator. Our next fight that I chose, Marlon Vera and Davy Grant. And that's just because I believe that this is just going to be a solid battle on the feet. I think it's going to be entertaining start to finish. Vera, beat the Sugar Show, so he's going to have a little bit of a crowd watching him, all the Sugar haters. And then for the final card, we're going to go to...
You included, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm not a sugar hater, though.
Not the sugar hater, but the Cheeto Vera hater.
But I'm not a hater, but I'm definitely watching what he does since he took the boy out.
That's fair.
For our final fight, we're going to take it over to the prelims, though. It's going to be the 4th fight on the card if everything stays as is. Chaos, Kalen Williams versus Matthew, cannot pronounce his name, Semmelsberger.
Semmelsberger.
Semmelsberger. Maybe the faster you say it, I think the more normal it sounds.
Right. I think you're thinking too hard on this one. You just got to say it. Or you can just call it Semi the Jedi. Call it good.
Matthew. How about
Matt?
That?
Let's go, Matt.
Matthew versus Kalen.
Matt Cheeseburger.
So these guys, Burger Boy, he's had 2 wins in a row. He's got a KO versus Jason Witt.
And
very
also,
interesting.
Speaking of football guys, I think Chaos Williams. I believe he's a football guy too, like Eric Anders. But also, Semmelsberger, I guess at least according to Wikipedia, former football defensive back.
I was gonna say because he's listed at like 6'2", 214 on Wikipedia, so that's crazy for I think they have him at welterweight, 170.
Yeah.
So sheesh, he's cutting like 40, 50 pounds.
Big boy. So if Wikipedia is accurate, that's athlete.
Yeah. So that's and Chaos Williams. I mean, I think everyone knows a little bit about that guy, but he had some really incredible KOs against Alex Moreno, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and then he got beat in a decision against Michel Pereira back in December 19th of 2020.
But that's just a damn good fight too.
That's just a damn good fight. So I think that this is a pretty safe bet to be a Blake's banger.
Anything with any guy with named Chaos in his name has to be a banger, right?
He ain't letting me down.
Come on now. No, he's not gonna. But let's talk main event though. Of course, the Korean Zombie's most recent fight was a loss against returning Brian Ortega, and this was a fight that he got handled in. And Dan Ige, now 50K Ige, is coming off a one-punch knockout. So obviously, guys, two different kinds of momentum going into this fight, but both of these guys are absolutely phenomenal fighters. Who do you think wins this one?
Man, this is a tough one. I think I'm gonna have to go Ige. I think I'm gonna have to go Ige, man, because I think momentum is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I think right now is kind of like his turn in this division, because I feel like everyone in the featherweight division kind of just it's very up and down, and then you kind of
until Josh Emmett gets back into that division, man. I can't wait. Now, I've been saying this for months now.
Don't forget to listen to the interview that happened.
Hey, over a year ago.
Plug that interview, boy.
Hey, plug that interview. It happened the week after he fought Shane Burgos into a lot of people's fight
of the year.
Fight of the year. So, hey, go listen to that one. Oh, such a fantastic guy. And the guy that he says he doesn't like to fight. So go get his reason to why.
Man, they must pay him enough then.
Hey, Dana White, hey, he had a good stuff at the Performance Center after that ACL, or after the ACL, MCL, femur.
But yeah, I think going back to the fight with Ige and Zombie, I think this primarily will be, unless Zombie can force it into being a grappling match, it should mostly be a stand-up fight.
Yeah.
And Ige right now, I mean, judging by his last performance, he's ready to go.
Right. I want to go Ige, man, but the Korean Zombie, you can never count that guy out. No. He just comes out of nowhere, man. He'll pull off a twister on Ige.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, we'll see who's right. But for my money, I think I'm taking 50K Ige for a knockout.
Which sucks too, because I got Ige in this one, but I don't want to see either guy lose. I really don't.
It is one of those fights that's really tough, you know.
Right. But this is a really good fight for Ige, because this is one versus, like, this is the best talent that he's seen in his career so far. This is the biggest test he's going to go under. I mean, number 4 ranked guy right now, guy that's fought for titles, that's fought the best of the best, and is beating a lot of the best of the best. So I'm really excited for the opportunity that Dan Ige has. I was really happy that they were able to get this fight put together. And hey, Dan Ige, perfect call out. You called this guy out. You called your shot. So go ahead and take advantage of it. I am so excited for this fight. But we're going to cap things off with none other than the Nae Nae of the week. And if you're paying attention on Twitter, you would have had a very, very good idea who is going to win this award. And I think it was on some of the UFC stuff leading up to UFC 263, post about whether Darren Stewart or Eric Anders. I was dropping my replies to those tweets saying, oh yeah, your boy is just going to do the exact same thing he did in the first fight. He's going to run through Stewart and prove that it wasn't a fluke, you know? Then this guy, I believe...
Fair take. Fair take.
Thank you.
I don't think that was a hot take at all.
No, it wasn't a hot take. And
wasn't disrespectful, wasn't weird.
No. And also, I was 100% right, too. So, shocker there. But my little boy over here, I think he might be... I think he might be British, maybe. He's at least a huge...
He must be British, bro. He must be from London.
I think he might be British. At the least, he's a big Darren Stewart fan, because I went through his profile, all the, like, retweeting stuff about Darren Stewart. And he replies. He replies, right? He replies to my reply to that tweet saying that Andre's going to do the same thing. He says, "I'm gonna save this tweet for later." And so you bet, little boy Thomas Al, as soon as Anders whooped that ass again, I had to come back to that tweet and say,
"Get Nae Nae."
Get Nae Nae, man. I said I gave him an L. I tweeted with the hose mad picture. I said, I
told him to get so upset.
Dude, I said, get so upset, man.
You got me fired up, so I had to chime in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, the Blake came over here. I said...
Because he was like, F you.
No, he said, I said something along the lines of, so how you feeling now? Let's see. Let's see if I can get that tweet pulled up so we can get the full story of this. So where's my hose man? Oh, there we go. There. Oh, Thomas Al. Oh, my boy, Thomas Al. So he said... the exact quote was, he said, "I'll come back to this when you're wrong." So I hit him with my Charles P. Sonnen. The P stands for predictions are right. Hit him with my casual meme on him. I quote tweet that with casual. Also replied to him with L. And then he replies to my quote tweet saying none other than, You know you win when you get this tweet. F-U.
But spelled out, though.
F-U-C-K. You. I like to be a little sponsor friendly, at least. At least a little bit. Sponsor us, guys. Anyone listening, love you all. I like money. So I hit him with a stay mad loser. Blake hit with a get so upset. And with the hose mad. And Blake.
You gotta be ready to, if you dish it, you gotta be able to take it.
Right.
You know?
Hey,
if you say something that you're so confident in, you gotta be able to accept that you were wrong. It's okay. Everyone loses. I lose a lot in Sunday morning co-ed soccer. I gotta just take it.
Hey, Blake's a Raiders fan. He's used to losing.
I'm used to lose. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan too.
He definitely even more used to losing.
You're a Kings fan too. You better be.
No, I'm not that huge a basketball guy.
Come on, bro.
Why would I be a Kings fan? There's nothing but misery there. I'm already an A's fan. I'm already a Broncos fan, man. I'm already a GWS Giants fan. This just, it's tough. It's tough out here, Blake, but at least I'm not getting Nae Nae nearly as bad as this guy did, because it was tough.
Yeah. Poor Thomas Al.
First, his favorite fighter gets destroyed, and then he gets destroyed on Twitter. I hit him with that 10-7 on Twitter, baby.
Yeah, it was 10-0.
First 10-0 in history. I'll take that.
Complete and utter domination.
Oh, Blake, I thank you so much. You're very kind. Also, I like to have you in my corner for that fight too. You helped.
I'm the coach.
You bet. You're the Trevor Whitman for my Twitter game.
I'm the striking coach. I'll let you know how to strike your keyboard on your touchpad.
I love it. I love it so much. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another UFC Talk. This is episode 48, getting close to 50. So that's going to be some good fun right there. Hopefully we have a good card to talk about for that one, or at least some good headlines nonetheless. But let us know all your thoughts of UFC Vegas 29, UFC 263. Hit us up on all of our socials, or go check us out, thefourthlong.com/UFC. And a quick thank you to our Patreon supporters, who are some of the best people in the entire world. Shout out to for all your card collecting needs. Go on over to Instagram, follow at the Big Bat Box. Shout out to Ray Rodriguez and his the GOAT domain name. $5 a month. Okay, he really do be the best on that one. Shout out to Ryan Watson and Neil Wiley and his YouTube channel, Chosen Problems. But Blake, your thoughts about Danny Ye versus the Korean Zombie in one word or phrase?
I wish I could just sing that Cranberries song. What's in your head? That's all that's going through my mind right now. That's all that's going through my mind right now.
Zombie.
That's all that's going through my mind.
Hey, Blake, what's in your head?
Zombie.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you in the next one.